And we are live. Hello again, warriors. Welcome to our podcast. Today we are going to be talking about more topics about webtoons and webtoon creators, the challenges, time scheduling, and other stuff about having a webtoon, having a webcomic online and being dictated to it with deadlines and being strict about it. Today we got Artsy K-Ray. Hello there, K-Ray.
Hello.
Hello.
And we got Godswill. Hello there, Godswill.
Hi.
Well, this is going to be a round table question. So I'm going to ask the same question to K Ray first, then to Godswill later. The first one we got unscripted questions first. Yeah. Unscripted. Yeah, are going to hate me after this, I know. The first unscripted questions I'm going to ask you. The first one is, what's your secret origins?
Secret origins.
Yeah,
um,
as a superhero. How did you get your writing powers, your artist power, your thinking ability to do a webcomic powers? How do you get this
mhm.
from?
Uh,
Well, I've been drawing since I was a little kid, but I didn't draw like too much crazy stuff. It was like simple stuff all the way out through like middle school that I started trying to do a little bit more around the end of middle school and the beginning of high school. I try to get like a more anime or like comic style, and then I started drawing a lot more in high school, and then now I'm here.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, for me, I'd say I started drawing at a very young age. Me and my brother, we were kids back then. So what our parents would do is that they would lock us up at the house when they were leaving for work, and so we look for stuff to be proactive, I should say. So we
Mhm.
started drawing us. It started as like a competition between us brothers and stuff like. So I kind of developed my own style throughout the years by doing research, and thankfully anime helped me to I'd say I was born with it. So my origin story is just kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, contest with your brother all the time while they're leaving you at
It's
home.
just
Well,
uh,
that's fun time to
just,
do your charm, actually.
yeah, just a friendly rivalry between us brothers and stuff.
Okay. So, what's your weapons of choice to make art?
Me first.
K-Ray first, yeah. It's always K-Ray
Um,
first and Godswill.
okay, I use a Huion tablet. I'm gonna let's see if you can see it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of old, honestly, but it still works. I have to use like a little keep number pad on the side because the buttons don't really work anymore. And then Clip, I use Clip Studio Paint. I have EX,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't really need it. You only really could use Pro for making comics.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, well, my equipment isn't really that dope. Um, I use the old traditional method right here. This.
Yeah.
Then I use my mobile phone, which is what I'm using for this video chat now. So I don't really have all the tools available. I'm really limited because the equipment I have is really, really bad. So I try to make what I can with what I have. I improvise.
Yo. So you do all the lettering and the inking stuff and all the stuff, everything on
Every
your
single
phone.
thing. Yeah, every single thing you see,
Well,
including the painted works.
oh man, oh man, you're making it so harder for some webtoon creators and for some beginners out there.
Actually, I think it will be helpful for them. The ones who have an idea, who will say, okay, I need a tablet, I need a laptop, I need a PC. You can start with just about anything you have
Mm,
available for you. So
that's cool. That's amazing. So, do you play video games, K Ray?
I used to, but more than rather playing them, I would watch either my sister or somebody else online play them. Although now I'm really into a game called Genshin Impact, as I have it on my phone. But that's been taking a lot of my time, but
All
I
right.
like it.
Hmm. Do you play video
Uh-huh.
games, Godswill?
Yeah, yeah. I play a lot of video games, but the one I'm into right now is actually the one she just mentioned, Genshin Impact. I really love that game. I can spend the whole day just
Yeah.
mining for materials and wow. I really love the game. I really love it. All right.
Oh, well, every creator have his thoughts about when he's playing a role-playing game or any something like this. There's a good choices and there's bad choices. Are you the good guy or the villain?
um
I'm okay. You go first.
sorry.
You
Uh
Kirei first.
I would I would like in real life I would be the good guy even though I'd be a little too scared to stand up for myself. But if my comic characters would probably think I'm a villain just because of what I put them through.
What about you, Godswill?
I'd say both in my comics and in real life, I'd say I'm a hero actually. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, I'd say I'm a hero. I'm being honest here, being blunt. I in real life, I really hate the notion of the bad always win. So I kind of try to be one of the good guys. And in my story, I try. The main character is actually me in the story. So yeah, I'm a hero.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So, how did you start your career, Kirei?
um, well, it kind of just started. I had a story. Well, it was originally a dream, and I wanted to share it with more people. So I thought, let's just make a comic. I know about webtoons, and you could like regular people could post on there. So why can't
Mm-hmm.
I? And so I just started
Yeah,
drawing it,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
it turned out I it was too long of a story, and I had a lot of stuff to work out. So I doing the current one I am now, but all you really have to do is just start doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do love your comic actually. I did like the way
Thank
you're
you.
drawing the wolves there's anatomy. You're doing a great job actually in your work.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, what about you, Gazol? How did you start
Well,
your career?
well, my career actually started while I was in secondary school. I would
Mm-hmm.
make I would make comics of um any superhero you've ever thought of in your life or movies you've watched. I make them into just kind of a cameo or let's just say I make them into this small series where they all converge and solve mysteries and stuff like that. A teacher saw it and he told me that why not make your own original characters and stuff, make your own original story, because actually I was doing the biggest piracy ever made known to man. So I took some time to myself, studied all the styles that seemed to work for me at the time. I
Mm-hmm.
actually studied from Ben 10. So I got introduced to anime at that point in time. It was Fairy Tale. Yeah, that anime. Fairy Tale, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know fairy tale anime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I actually I loved the characters. I loved everything about that story, and I was like, wow, I love Natsu. Why not make my own Natsu? So I created Domino, the main character of my story. So I started drawing some. I rebooted about 3 times, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 times. I rebooted like 3 times, and so far this final reboot was the best, and I've been going on solo. I recently set up a team to help me make the story more mature for people to read, but the first 3 chapters I did them alone, nobody else. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Rebooting and knowing your mistakes and refixing them to they
Yeah.
can be
E-
final and be getting better. Yeah,
And
I
there's
go
also
with this
another thing
idea.
I'd like to add. During that time of rebooting, I was also fixing my art. My art was trash back
Oh,
then. It was really trash.
There
So
is no
with
artist out
every
there that would like his own art style.
with, with every reboot, I try to upgrade my drawings. With every reboot, and the funny thing is that I didn't go to art school. Those weren't made available here in Nigeria. Actually, everybody shuns art here. Seriously. I told my dad, Dad, I want to be an artist, and he was like, leave my house. If you're gonna play with your life, leave my house. And when I was like,
Oh,
what? Oh no, I'm gonna prove you wrong, man. I'm gonna do what I want. So it's kind of like me being rebellious in a way, and I also having revenge on those people who turned me down back in the day. So yeah,
oh, that's so hard,
yeah,
man. That's so hard
yeah,
indeed.
yeah.
Well, so we are moving to the next part. We all know that not all of us are full-time artists, so we all have challenges in our lives. We are busy with our life. So how can a webtoon creator, webtoon artist, webtoon writer, of course, can schedule their time, can prepare their time so they can work on their story, so they can release episodes every week or every couple of weeks. So, what's your schedule, K-Ray, and how are you able to release episodes putting a deadline in your head?
I have a really bad schedule.
Oh,
Uh,
how?
it's a little better now because it's summer and I'm not taking summer classes right now. But before, when I would be taking like two or three college classes, I would not prioritize right. You should be prioritizing to what's more important, like your schoolwork, work, and then like family, and then your comic. If it's a hobby, you put that after in your free time. I was doing the opposite. So during the weekdays, I would be working on my comic, and then I'd be like cramming all of my schoolwork onto the weekend, and like cry on Sunday because it's due on midnight. But so I don't recommend people do that.
So, how many hours do you work per day?
Um, it so I usually like sit down at like around 5 or 6 p.m. and then I don't go to bed until it ranges from like 2 to 4 in the morning.
Hmm.
I can't really focus in the morning and the afternoon, so I always work at night.
Hmm. So, that you can tell us that is it important for every creator to spend more than 6 hours or 7 hours trying to achieve their goals by drawing?
Uh, um, I think it matters of how important it is to you and if you actually have the time to be putting that, because if it's gonna like have a negative impact on your life and like your work and family and your health,
Mhm.
then you shouldn't be putting yourself through that. You should really be only doing it in the time that is extra that you can do it and still have time to take care of yourself.
Mm. Well, Isabella Verrett says hello. Hello to you, Isabella.
Hello.
Well,
Well, so how do you schedule your time, Godswill?
um, I don't have a schedule. I'm bad with scheduling myself.
Oh.
Um, I'm trying to set up a brand where we make manga just like Jump. So most of my time dedicated to research. The other times are dedicated to me lazing off, yeah, being procrastinating almost all half of my day. But I I try to draw the whole day. I'd say that's what I do.
Wow.
I try to draw the whole day. Um, there is work. I'm also a freelance artist, so I take commissions and stuff. But sometimes what I say is I prioritize my work per day,
Hmm.
which is more important to do. So each and every day I go to check up on my artists, the ones on that are currently working with me. I go and check up on them. Like, let's say I spend up to like 2 hours with them. Then 3 hours I use that to do my little running around daytime, do my chores and stuff. The other half of the day I can either spend it by playing video games, watching anime, or I draw. So I would say you as a creator, you should like find what's more convenient for you to do.
Hmm.
Don't give yourself a heavy schedule like I have to draw like 2 hours a day. Just every day I need to draw like 2 hours a day, at least 2 pages. No, I can draw up to 10 pages per day. Just give me the time, I can do that. I don't like scheduling myself because I know it's not easy and I'm trying to be as fast as I can. For maybe I might get a contract and say, hey, we want you to work on this manga, and like I can't even make a page a day, and that would be very, very terrible on my part. So I'd say, yeah, you need to create a very sustainable workflow for yourself as an artist so you don't
That's
flop.
so true. You got to
Yeah,
have to be drawing at least maybe 2 pages or 3 pages a day.
yeah,
If you do want a full-time comic artist job or illustrator job. This is what I
yeah.
learned from all the interviews or for all the guests that I interviewed in the past previous years. So we've got questions from our audience here. Can Webtoon make money?
Mm.
It
Okay.
on the Webtoons app, it's very difficult to because you got two requirements. You got a 1,000 subscriber, which isn't the hardest part actually. The hardest part is the 40,000 monthly page views, and that is like one of the hardest part. Like you could get like 7K subscribers, but you only be getting like 20K page views each month. You won't be even be able to meet the minimum for the ad revenue, and even the
Yeah.
ad revenue isn't even gonna give much money. So you'd have to be like the top of the top to be able to start making some money from Webtoon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But you
yeah.
can make Patreon, so I think that would be a different way to bring in a little bit more money. It's not going to be a lot still, but it'll be like a little side cash.
That's cool. Yeah, I do support the Patreon idea. It's really helpful
Yeah, it's really
for
helpful.
all the Webtoon creators. So, what about you, Godswill?
Um, I didn't really actually go into Webtoon for the money, so I don't have much to say on that. But what I would say is, you're a creator. You don't actually have to put the money aspect first. Just try to enjoy what you're doing. Putting the
Yeah,
money aspect first, actually, it actually kills the drive. So I'd say forget about the money. You want people to see your work. So keep doing what you do, not for the money, but for your story.
the journey is more joyful than the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we got our next question, which is why did you choose Webtoon and not to print your comic?
I'd like to
uh,
go first.
okay, you could go first.
Okay. Um I in my country we don't buy comics, or we're not used to like an I printed a copy of my book at 2019, and people were like, wow, this is nice, it's really cool. Okay, yeah. So I asked them, how much would you pay? The amount they called compared to the work I put into the old stuff was very, very disappointing. So I decided to digitalize my work. It's more convenient that way. You don't spend much on, maybe on data subscriptions. Yeah, you spend much on data subscriptions, but it's more free and easy for me to manipulate my way through that process. So you should really pick a platform you that you think work well for you, sir. On to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I'm
agree with the point that's like it's more free, but not even just that. It's you could reach in my I think you could reach more people in that way because everybody has a phone. They can all go to the app, and you don't have to like find and buy a physical copy to be able to read
Yeah.
the content. It's just there for everybody, and anybody could reach it. So
Yeah.
you have a much wider audience that way. And I also liked it because it's digital and printing. I had the complications of like panel layouts for like the page setup. And if I did it on Webtoons, there's not that like restriction. You just do like panel by panel, like scrolling down the thing. It's just a long page. So I felt
Mm-hmm.
that was like I had a lot more options to do there.
Yeah, it's more fun actually to be working on that. I enjoyed working on webtoons as much as I'm working on comics, but on webtoons I'm having like I'm free with the dramatics, the surprises, like maybe with if I'm going to hide the character into motion and show him later with a scary face maybe or something like this. It's going to be serving me more on webtoons than
Mhm.
I'm doing on real printed comic. It's far more easier to do this on webtoon
Yeah.
than comic. So Um, what's your workflow? How do you prepare your work?
I once again I have a really bad workflow. But I do have the story and the plot completely written out. Like I know like the main points, what's the end, what's happening in the end, and I have like major scenes. I just need to like write a little bit more of like the little details of like episode by episode, but I still have the way it connects. And then I get like a scene, so it's like and I thumbnail it, like do little sketches on like
Do you write
script.
them first on paper? The main ideas,
Yeah,
do you write them first on paper? Then do you move to the layout, the thumbnail, right?
I like it's still in my head, but like I had written it on paper, and then after like I don't have to go like panel this and then like quotation marks and what happens in the panel. I just do like a summary of what happens in the scene, and then I'll go and sketch out like what happens throughout the episodes. But I will sketch out like the scene. So and then once it's all sketched, I will break it up into the episodes. And then from there, I would do the line art, the coloring, background, and then the editing to put it into
If
Webtoon.
if you got a catchy phrase you're going to use in a scene or something like that, do you write it down on the thumbnail or the draft paper you use for writing your story?
Yeah, I would write it in. I would like type it in my phone in my notes, but I would also like write it when I'm sketching it and like put like other stuff in there to just make sure I get like a point across. But I always
Hmm.
try to like each episode I want to make sure that like something happens so you don't like get a conversation and that's it. Like I want there to be like you got something from the episode.
Hmm. Mm. That's cool. That's so cool. What's your process, Godswill?
Well, I do not write my ideas down. They just kind of come up from here. Each episodes I make, I don't actually plan them. I actually know what's gonna happen at the end, so I'm just trying to drive in the whole story to that point. Um, I'm someone that's really, I can get inspired by anything, even this video chat right now. I'm seeing an episode right here.
That's
So
amazing. Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm seeing a whole episode right here. So um so I do not write my stories. I'm actually having issues because of that, but if you read the story, you're like, man, this guy put a lot of planning into this, but actually no, I just blah blah, I just pop it out. I just like
I did flip
but
through your webcomic, and I do like the characters, how they are acting and involved with each other, talking with each other. I do like the
yeah,
atmosphere you are presenting in your story.
yeah, that's what I try to do. It, actually, I feel that the thrill of not knowing what's gonna happen next. I'm in the
Mhm.
place of the readers when I make my story, so I put myself in that spot, trying to feel what the readers are feeling at
Mhm.
every episode. I don't even know what's gonna happen next, really,
So
and
I
that's
have
the
a
fun part about.
question
Okay, you sure?
for you. Since you say that it like comes to you and you kind of like do your episodes as they come to you, what do
Yeah.
you do? Do you do much for like foreshadowing stuff, or like you still have like major plot points so that you can foreshadow, or is it not a story that really needs a lot of foreshadowing?
It really what would I say? It only has one foreshadowing. That's what's gonna happen at the end of the first season. So I kind of leave the rest place as blank, just
Okay.
blank. I can put anything I want there. I don't foreshadow. I don't actually put Easter eggs. The only Easter eggs I put is on maybe some cameos of other characters from shows I've
Man,
watched.
you
But
should be planning your stories, or they are going to be chaotic in the future episodes.
yeah, but I have a plan for that. I have a plan for that also. I actually
Yeah,
know where the story. I actually know where the story is going. So this first stage is it doesn't really need much effort from me. It actually needs effort from the characters in the story. I'm not sure you're gonna understand that.
mhm.
Actually, yeah, I'm trying to build the characters, their relationships. I'm also trying to make the readers understand why they do some things, and I'm actually playing that story in real time, trying to like get the feel. If this was my life, how would it be? What would I see? What's gonna come next? So that's
Yeah.
how I write my story.
Those are very important questions to shape the characters in your story, but to shape the outline of the story, how the things are going. You should have some like main
Yeah,
lines. I do like the way that Kerry just tell us to think reverse, think from the end to the start. This is truly helpful, where so you don't find yourself in the end facing a writer's block. Then you,
yeah.
what? Why did I bring this character to be with this character? And what they are going to do? They're going to be staring like this. Well,
I
so I think both ways does work. So we're going to the next one, which is what influences have shaped your art and writing? K Ray first.
Um, I For the art aspect, I really love this manhwa called Solo Leveling. I don't know if you've heard or read it, but I think the art is really beautiful and they do a good job with storytelling and it like always keeps me hooked. Like episode to episode, I like always need more. But it's like I want my art and my storytelling to kind of grow to that level. So I'm trying to like see like little aspects they do. It's like, oh, they like put a little detail about this like 20 episodes earlier. So I like try to learn from what I'm reading and also the other webtoons I read in just Canvas or the original webtoons. I try to like learn to see how they're doing it as well.
That's cool. Do you read any books?
Sorry?
Do you read any books?
No.
No.
No, I don't read. I read comics. That's like the most I read.
Well, we got a question before we head to you, Godswill. Solo leveling is a good, yeah, big webtoons like that. That one are usually made by a team of creators. No.
Yeah, they're made from like studios, so like they have like writers, a main artist, like flatters, colorers, background artists, and then it's like you got the editor. So it's a big group of people all working on the one series to get it out. Meanwhile, in webtoons, canvas creators and like myself, it's just me. Like I do everything. I do the writing, the art, the editing. I'm alone while they have this a bunch of support and a bunch of team.
Well, for you, Mark Dog, we got kind of questions answered being a part here with Skyray. We got this question answered maybe 3 or 4 interviews
I'm
before
being
with.
called. Hold on. Oh, you can keep going. But I'll see if I could be back.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
it's okay. So we got this question answered maybe 3 or 4 interviews ago before with co-creators. There was a writer and an artist working together on their webtoon, so you can maybe find your answers there. If you can't find yourself satisfied with this answer, send it again. I'm going to ask it again to if we are going to feature a whole team of creators together. So what did influence have shaped your writing, Godswill? Other from fairy tale.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a tough one. Um, I'd say movies. For my writing skills, I'd say I watch a lot of movies, and I try to understand why the author is telling this story, his point of view, the viewer's point of view. I really use that information to shape how I think. Well, then for my art is I love all sorts of art. I whether it's bad, whether it's good. I really find this nostalgia when looking at someone's art. Like, wow, I really want to be like this guy. I really would like to color like this guy. So yeah, I spend my time trying to be the best that I can be. Really,
Hmm.
um, anime has a big influence on my art. Really, anime has a big influence on my art. Mostly seeing some beginning artist works, and I'm like, wow, how did this guy do this? This, I'll call them. If I can talk to them, I try to learn what I can from, then do my own research and try to level up from there. So I do
We kind of lost you here, Godswill.
not read books, reading actually.
Okay.
So that's
Again,
yeah,
do you read any books?
nope,
Okay.
not manga.
No.
Okay. Okay.
Even my own book. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So when I'm writing a webtoon or making a webtoon, and I'm kind of like having an arc or story or season going, and I'm nearly finalizing what's going on this arc or season, and heading to the next arc or the next season. So how do I plan making a new arc or a new season?
Would you like to go first so I can like collect my thoughts a bit?
Okay, for me, how I plan my arcs is based on my character of interest at that time in the story. So let's say if I for the first chapter of my book, I'm kind of like focusing on Domino as a character, his relationships, his life in general, and stuff like that. So if I'm done with him, there might be some important characters that I need to foreshadow in the next episode. And like, wow, this will make a really good arc. Okay, let's see what I can do. I start brainstorming. Yeah, let me use that word. Brainstorm. I brainstorm a lot. Brainstorm like, would this be good for an arc or would this be good for just an episode or stuff like that? So I pick a character of interest as at that time pertaining to the story. Pick a character and try to work on that character, try to develop him and see how I can push the story further from the point it is. So yeah, that's how I make mine.
Hmm. What about you, Kare?
Okay. I uh have a little bit of trouble with that. Like I have like some ideas, but it's like when I think of my movie, my comic, I kind of think of it like a movie in a way, and so like I kind of base like kind of the flow a little bit off of that, but it's like I kind of have two like major arcs. So it's like I have like the beginning and then like what would be like the second arc would be a little more towards the end. But it's like I guess I kind of need to like remember that it's like the arcs don't have to be massive. You can have like little arcs and like little developments in
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
so I just tend to think of those as like development or like scenes instead of like art. So it's just like my way of thinking of it is a little bit different.
Hmm. Well, that's cool actually. And there's another thing I would like to add, maybe to creators and writers out there. When you're creating a new season or character or an arc, maybe if you're going to get like maybe about five characters, and maybe you can add through your story another characters to those five. Later, you can make this character discover its background and how
Mhm.
the other
Yes.
protagonist and the antagonist of your story is going to discover about this backstory about this character. Is he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy? Does this character have villains or have other ones that hate him or other ones that do want to fight him? So this is like a small idea small ideas we got here, small tips and tricks from creators, so to make your jobs far more easier. So the next one is many creators out there face kind of like a huge problem that they can't have enough imagination to design unique characters and maybe unique shapes. You can already maybe have uh, uh, many wolves in your story, but maybe you got to have something like a unique design for a wolf out there for future maybe future wolf you're going to introduce. So with a strange background, you gods will maybe have like a character with a strange armor or strange powers in the future. So how can a creator or a writer or an artist to build and evolve his own imagination? K-Way first.
Uh, so I struggle with that too. It's like one of the things I struggle with is like fashion. Like my character's literally in a t-shirt and shorts, so I really need to improve on that. But I think one way would just to be to randomly doodle and like sketch out and like just quickly do stuff because you're just like letting your mind flow and just like not stopping it to think. So you just get ideas out there, and then after you like sketch a bunch and doodle a bunch of stuff, you can like look at it and then like fix little things, add little things here and there, and then you could develop it more from that.
Hmm. That's fine.
Oh,
Oh
what
yeah. Well,
happened?
so I can maybe I can add a couple of tips too about this thing. For the character design to be specific to you, so you can make something unique, something new. If like when I'm working on a smile, there is like two factions. Hope I'm not spoiling any fun for my watchers here or readers. Two factions, the Blue Hands and the Ravenford. Well, they both have like an old origins. I'm not going to be talking about this, but you must have two atmospheres. Welcome back. Welcome
Ah,
back. You're going to have to be having two strange atmosphere to each vibe of them. I couldn't come with a strange atmosphere with every faction unless I have been reading more history about the medievals and the Monopoly maybe, or watching a couple of movies about how can you create strange atmosphere between an organized people that do work under one rule, and unorganized people that doesn't got connected together, and everyone works with his own mind. So I'm not going to be talking too much about this, but please, people, do read so you can have more ideas about creating more characters and more stories. This is going to help all of our watchers and readers. We lost Godswill
Yeah.
again. So I think we are going to head to the next one until he comes back. Is there any characters or stories you are dying to add them to your story?
Uh, so there's a villain that in Lost Domain, but he's like all the way at the end, and I was just like, I want to draw his scene so bad, but it's like I have to wait till I get there and get through the whole story just to get to that one character and that one scene. Like I keep having in my head, but I also really want to tell and draw my original comic that was I was trying to do before I started Lost Domain, but that one's very complicated. But
Mm.
yeah, it's like kind of wanting to draw some of the villains, but in Lost Domain the villains kind of come later.
So you gotta set like scenes first before just characters come.
Yes, I still have one other like main character who still hasn't shown up yet. She's gonna be I'm currently going a little slow, so she's gonna take a few more episodes to show up. But from there, it's like this part of the story is more about like Ren's growth and him like
Welcome
getting
back, man.
accustomed to his new life at the village, and then once he like kind of gets settled, it's like other stuff starts happening and affecting him and the village. It's like
That's cool,
that's what I
actually.
want to get
That's
to.
so cool. So we were talking about the imagination part. How can you evolve and make your imagination better, Godswill?
Um, for me, I'd say you should do a lot of research pertaining to your story, um, on a particular subject you want to research on, and also, um, I watch a lot of movies and anime and try to see how I can relate that to my story. For what has been the most help to me as of recently is this game Genshin Impact. The main plot of the story is actually kind of similar to mine. So I draw inspiration from that game, which is why I'm always immersed in it sometimes. So
hmm
yeah.
hmm we got the other questions you already missed.
Uh, Someone killed my internet.
It's okay. The other question you already missed. We were talking about. Are there any more characters or stories you are dying to add to your story, to your major story? Before you answer
Yeah.
this one, feel free,
Uh,
our audience, to send us your questions or ask about anything from K-Ray and Godswell about their stories, about what they do, how do they work on their webcomics. Feel free to send us your questions. We are here today so you can ask away. So feel free to send us your questions on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. So feel free to send them away. So Godswell, gang.
okay. If there's a character I'm dying to add to the story, well, not really at the moment, but I have other projects I'm working on. I'm trying to make like a multiverse sort of thing in my story, but that isn't happening anytime soon. Very long. Yeah, spoiler alert. Yeah, there's gonna be a whole lot of multiversal shit going down in the story. Um, there is this other one I'm trying to do. It's kind of like the main boss of the story. I'm trying to foreshadow him, but I haven't really found the right spot to place him. So I'm just trying to like driving every aspect of the story to that point where they like make mention of him in the story. So yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, that's cool. Well, uh, creating a webtoon does consume your time. So, how do you arrange time with friends and family?
I'd say I don't. I'm an introvert, an extreme one actually. I don't hang out that much. Friends don't call me. The ones they do, I still try to like talk to them and stuff. But I'm mostly by myself. If I'm not by myself, I'm on social media. So the ones I seem to like spend a lot of time with are the guys, the artists I'm working with. I have about 15 of them. We are in this small Facebook GC where we share our stuffs, try to tell each other how to grow,
Mhm.
teach each other some new stuffs, and so I really don't spend a lot of time with friends. I'm mostly by myself always.
Mm. What about
Yeah.
you, K Ray?
Uh, I I'm kind of the same as I don't really meet up with my friends anymore. I got a couple that I'm still close with, but we talk more over like Discord and stuff like that. It's like I want to meet them, but it's like we don't do it very often. And I forgot the question. I'm sorry.
How, webtoon does consume your time. So, how do you find time with your friends and your family?
Oh, it's like it kind of works because I work at night. So it's like all during the day in the morning, it's like I do whatever I want. I go like I talk to my friends, I online with my friends, I play Genshin a lot. And then when it comes night, everyone goes to sleep. Is I stay up working on the comic.
Mhm. Well, we got a question from our audience here, JM. Who are the characters based on, or how did you come up with the book? Actually, I don't. We are going to ask these questions to you, boss. So first, with you, K Ray.
The characters are well, the entire thing was a dream, so I'm kind of like tweaking some details of the dream, but I'm just kind of drawing it out to help tell the story. So it's like, in a way, I kind of didn't really design the characters that much, but because like I was basically given their personality and like the events and plot of the story. But I do add like a couple stuff in there. I do add like a couple background characters from like my sister's characters or somebody else. I'll be like, hey, can I like sneak your character in here for the background?
Hmm.
But
Well, that's so fun idea to start your webtoon from a dream. I do like this. So what about you, Godswill?
For me, I'd say the characters are all based off of from my life in general. What I'd like to do if I was in a fantasy movie, yeah, yeah. Um, some story plots in my my comic were actually gotten from a dream. Also, I'm kind of like the same. Um, I still try to tweak what I can. What I can't tweak is I'd say some really complex characters I'm really struggling with. Like there's a guy with a mask in my comic. I really don't know what to do with him. He's just there. He's just there. I don't know what to do with him yet, but people really seem to like him a lot. He's the only character that people have become like, hey, I like this guy. I like this guy. You got that Kakashi vibes going on. And I'm like, oh God, save me. So let's say 98% of the characters in my story were actually based off from my life, while the designs were gotten from other anime in general. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's what.
That's fun. Well, we got another question from our audience for you, K Ray. For Artsy-Kay, how open are you to the idea of adding more people to your creative team?
I I would like to like get someone to help me with like fashion design, and if they could like help with like 3D like backgrounds, but like not so I could put 3D backgrounds into my story because like I kind of like the 2D aspect of it, but it's so I could get like more of the perspective and uh, like how big like everybody is to each other proportion wise.
Yeah,
But because like I kind of struggle with the perspective and proportion parts, but I don't have the money to kind of ask for that help at the moment. So I'm like still doing it by myself.
Well, we hope we answered your question, Mogdog. So thanks to you, Isabella, Mogdog, JM, for all of your questions. Actually, feel free to send us more questions if you'd like for all of our audience. We are here today to answer your questions. Well, for the last part of our interview, is is there any tips and tricks you would like to share with our audience, with creators, writers, artists out there, wannabes who someone who would like to thinking of posting his own webtoon and thinking of his dream is to post on webtoon and don't know where to start or how to do so any advice would work.
Okay. I would say to if it's like your first time doing a comic and you're not that experienced in it, or maybe you think like you still want to develop your art style very much a lot more before you do a big project, is to keep the your biggest project on the side, like, and just like keep working on it, but do something else a little smaller because your art is going to like increase a lot faster when you're doing a comic because you're doing like illustration, 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 like panel by panel. You're going to be drawing a lot more doing a comic than if you would be doing drawing an illustration like here and there. So you like even I see like the progression in my art from like episode 1 to my current episode. So like
Yeah.
once you do you could do like a short story or like a medium sized webtoon, but and then after you do that, you learn about like how to actually like plan and lay out your webtoon, and then once you learn like all that stuff and you grow an audience, then you can move on to your bigger one. And I would also just say to just start because that's usually one of the bigger problems is just starting.
Mhm. We got another question from one of our audience here telling how long is your story? How long is
But
going to last?
uh I it's the hello, you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
You disappeared for a moment. But my lost domain is still quite long. I know I just said not to do a long story for your first one, but I'm trying to like cut it down a little bit, but I still want to like do the whole thing. Like I think I was ready for it, but seeing as how much I put out each update, it's gonna take a lot longer than I thought to even finish the series. But I'm hoping to like get get longer episodes with each update. I just have to work a little bit more on that.
Well, that's cool. Actually, planning it's more than important. So I'm sure you're doing a good job at this.
Thank you.
Well, many thanks for watching, guys. We are so sad that Godswill didn't join us till the end of our interview, but he missed the last part, so maybe he will be joining us for future episodes. Many thanks again, guys, for watching us. Many thanks for you, K-Ray. Many thanks for Godswill.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, we are honored to have you guys here. We do I do love the stories you are making. I do love how you are working to make your dreams come true and sharing them with other people. I'm going to sharing my Ensmile. Actually, it's a webcomic. Me and my wife working on it. So the links will be on the description box on YouTube, and feel free to search for it on Webtoon. It's called Ensmile. As for K-Ray's story, you can share the links with me, so I can post the link here on YouTube. Same for Godswill. Well,
Okay.
many thanks again for watching, guys, and please have a nice day. Looking forward to next
Thank you
week.
for coming. Bye.
Goodbye.